She may be an empress to some of you. Being her voice has been around. If you've heard any, if you've listened to any type of Bible readings, she does voiceovers. She's done all kinds of things in the Hollywood industry from voiceovers. So I don't know if she's going to do any characters today. I don't know if she's going to show up as another personality besides herself. But she's really, she's a professor in New Covenant University, but she's here to speak to us today. And so if you can give a good, God bless you, a good hand, put hands together for our sister, Doctor, I think it's Doctor, isn't it? Serena Travis. Bring it up to the front. It's almost like the place like, come on now. Do you want this podium?
Yeah.
She does.
Oh, no, you don't have to turn it. That's good.
That's good?
That's good. I feel comfortable with myself right there.
There you go.
Being exposed right here. I'm okay.
Is that loud and too loud? Or is it?
Oh, I love it. Do you love it?
I love it.
Okay. Good afternoon. So, you'll probably find in your handout the 7 C's of effective communication. Please join me as we sail the 7 C's of effective communication. I will be your hostess today as we go on this journey. Oh, I love this. I love microphones. I just really enjoy them so much. It helps to get the message to a lot of people. Okay, first thing I'd like you to do after you get your handout ready is you can put my email right at the top because I forgot to do it. drserenatravis@gmail.com. drserenatravis@gmail.com.
Welcome to my world.
Drake, it's time for dinner. The dinner is ready. Dinner will be served in 5 minutes. I have a PA system set up in the house just for this purpose. Yes, the cleaning cycle has commenced. Yes, our house is a ship. So drserenatravis@gmail.com. And what I would like you to do is send me an email because there is a link that I'd like to send to you. We have a project that I can't tell you much about, but I can tell you all about it. It's a project that we just recently did. It's a film, a short film. That's all I can say. And I can share the link and everything with you. And it does have something to do with communication. So I'll just throw that out there. So make sure to send me an email. If you don't have it, it's on the paper. For all of you who just came in late, it's drserenatravis@gmail.com. Put that down on your paper. Send me an email. Say, send me the link to your film. So Drake and I have been making films and TV, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, Drake?
5.
5, yeah, last 5 years. We have had the opportunity to work in LA. Fortunate, unfortunate, I mean, it's all your perspective and your point of view, of course. So one of the things, of course, that's very important in anything that you do, whether you're in Hollywood or whether you're in your church or your home, is to have effective communication.
Amen.
You have to be able to get your message across, and you have to make sure that your message is heard and understood. You could be talking all the livelong day, and if your listeners, if your followers cannot hear or understand what you're saying, you're not doing your job. You have to make yourself understood. So communication, of course, comes in all sorts of forms. And we have more forms available today than we have ever had in history. Used to be just you could have a conversation. If you knew how to write, you'd write a letter. But now we've got emails, texts, you can making videos, sending all these things out. So you have a greater responsibility than any of your ancestors to get it right. So I just need to ask a little bit of audience participation. I'd like everybody to stick out your tongue. Come on. Stick out your tongue. Okay, good. I just want to point out that God, this is your license from God to carry a weapon of deadly force. You have been licensed by God with a weapon of deadly force. Now, is it a force for good or evil? That's your choice. Okay? Yeah. It's deadly. Can I say that even lower? Deadly. I love it. Anyway, let's go through this outline. Communication. Communication is imparting information. Information, it could be news, it could be, all sorts of information. It's either one-to-one or one-to-many. So you have to make sure that you're either understood by that one or by that many when you're communicating information. Number one, the first C of the 7 C's is clear. Clear. Have you ever been on a flight where you're listening and there's an announcement that comes over the loudspeaker?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What something like,
You get those jolts at 2 a.m. and you never know what he says. I'm going to define it for you now so it's clear from here on out.
So this is your final square, 37,000 feet. It's like turbulence, 3 minutes. Added 4 minutes early when we into Baltimore and these Los Angeles. Clouds have a nice flight.
Yes! Yes, exactly!
You've been there.
Yes.
You've been there. And you're like, why did they bother?
Yeah.
Why did they bother? Thank you, Drake. I couldn't do that. Drake is so good at that. So be clear. So you need to have, and you need to create a well-defined goal or message. A well-defined goal or message. And don't expect people to read between the lines. Don't be vague. Just hit it straight on. Don't beat around the bush. Don't expect people to assume. Don't expect people to assume. They've got enough trying to just pay attention to you, okay? So just tell them straight up what it is. Clear in your message, and then also clear in your delivery. So you need to, if you're somebody who likes to speak fast, and when you get nervous, you really start talking fast, you just slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down and take the time to deliver that, because you need to be understood. You need to be heard. So take your time. 2, concise. Concise. You need to be concise. Stick to the point and keep it brief. Don't use 50 words when 5 will do. Okay, because people don't, ain't nobody got time for that, okay? You gotta sum it up. Don't use filler words. And that's something that we have a tendency to do. Like, yeah, as you know, like I said, without further ado. Just do it. You don't have to say without further ado. I hear that all the time. You hear that on YouTube videos? So without further ado, I'm going to show you how I cleaned my kitchen and how I organized my pantry to be perfect. Like without further ado. Oh my goodness. If I could get $1 every time I heard without further ado. So just keep it concise. Keep it tight. And how do you do that? You got to prep. Be prepared, have an outline, be ready to go, have your thought process organized. That's all good. Next, concrete. The 3rd C is concrete. Use details and vivid facts. When Jesus was speaking on this earth, and when he was telling the parables, he used everyday items. He never used abstractions. He just used, there's the pearl of great price. There's the lady looking for the coin. It wasn't, she wasn't looking for the essence of the universe. He was using concrete, everyday things that people could understand. Farming terms. Mm-hmm. Nothing like, does Jesus know the value of pi? 3.1415. Of course he does. He invented it. But is he talking in those terms to anybody? No, nobody's going to get it. So keep them concrete, real, grounded. Help people to see and understand and use imagery in terms. In fact, the Hebrew mind operates in pictures.
Right.
And that's why there's so much imagery in the Bible, so many word pictures, so many stories. The Greek mind is more of that linear, mathematical sort of mind. So we kind of might shift back into that thinking of making it just all linear without building these word pictures that help people to understand stories, through those pictures. So concrete. 4, correct. Please take the time to use good grammar.
Did you fill in the 2 blanks after 3? Concrete, used?
Oh yeah, concrete. Use details and vivid facts. Details and vivid facts.
Keep up.
You're really good about that, Drake. Drake is good about those vivid facts. I mean, if you want a word picture, you just ask Drake, because he'll be like, where did that come from? It's like a spoon on a ham sandwich or something. He just comes up with something crazy. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, then he tells you. Correct. So error-free communication shows you care about your audience. Edit everything. Edit everything. Reread your emails. Reread that book outline. Reread that speech you're going over, your message. Editing is so important. Malcolm, when you're writing a book, do you just write it perfectly the first time?
4 drafts.
4 drafts, okay. And then do you give your manuscript to somebody else to look at?
Pay somebody to proof it, because you get married to your work and you become blind to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's a great reason. Because if you're, and you may inadvertently say something so horrible that you didn't ever mean to say, because it made sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense to your audience.
Yep.
So editing is so important, and it takes a bit of humility to go through the editing process. Would you say?
It does. Most people get touchy with you over, you're trying to change my thought. No, I'm trying to establish a thought.
Yeah. Because you get so tied up and it's like, this is my baby. This is my work. But obviously, if your goal is to reach people, you have to be willing to make some adjustments. So editing is so important. Also, grammar and correct punctuation saves lives. Let's eat grandpa.
Yeah.
You ever see that t-shirt?
Yeah.
And, let's eat, comma, grandpa. Grandpa. That's the funniest one to me. Anyway, or, and maybe you know of somebody who has suffered the loss of a loved one because of the incorrect placing of a decimal point. Dosage in a hospital setting, and that loved one died because the decimal place, that decimal was in the wrong place. So, just reread, edit. Just be willing to humble yourself to edit. 5, coherent. Coherent. So why would it be difference between clear and coherent? Clear means you have that clear goal, that message of what you're working to, the premise of why you're even making this communication. Whereas coherent means you're creating a logical flow. Create a logical flow. All of your points need to be connected somehow. They're either so connect your points, that's the next blank there. Connect your points and keep them relevant to the main topic. Connect your points and keep them relevant to the main topic.
Don't talk like Picasso paints.
There you go. So it's going to be easier, of course, for your audience if they are being gently led down a path and arriving with you at that logical conclusion. So they go, whoa, where did that come from? You have to really connect those points. Complete. 6 is complete. Provide all, not some, not a little bit. Provide all the information that your audience needs to be informed, and if necessary, take action. Hey, just a reminder about the potluck tomorrow. End of sentence. End of email. Potluck, where, when, what am I supposed to bring? Yeah, A through L, bring salad, M through Q, bring whatever, you have to have all that information as you're thinking about communicating to your audience, to your congregation, to your small group, whatever. You need to provide all that information. And what do they need to do with it? They need to have something that they can turn around and do with that. By the way, this is not my outline. I did take this from mindtools.com. So anyway, just to my little disclaimer there. And I thought it was really good because 7 C's, that's easy to remember.
It is.
I like it. So, complete, provide all the information that the audience needs to be informed, and if necessary, take action. Of course, I'm tweaking it because this is a pastor's gathering. 7, this is so important. 7 is courteous.
What?
Courteous. There's a tendency to step away from courtesy in our culture. Just blast it, get it over with, get it done. But courtesy is so great. When you're in it, starting an email with somebody for the first time, you say, dear so-and-so. I mean, it's just like the old days. You were taught to write a letter in school, right? You just say, dear so-and-so, comma, sincerely yours, comma. I mean, like all these things that those common courtesies that have kind of, some of them have gone by the wayside, but I think those are still relevant and very important. And it's interesting, I've noticed some different closures to letters over time, like blessings, warmly yours, kind regards, warm wishes. I mean, these are good things. It's not like people get that feeling like if you just send an email to someone for the first time, it's like, glad I met you, or good, whatever. I mean, without those niceties at the beginning and the end, it's kind of like, go ahead, take that extra 30 seconds and type out a nice greeting. It's not going to take that long. So, courteous. Adopt a friendly, open, and honest tone in all your communication. Your email, your text, your message may be the only nice thing that person receives that day.
Good.
A full day of bad news, you might be the one ray of sunshine in that person's day. Be that ray of sunshine. That's going to be a good thing for that.
Very good.
Yes. Now, speaking to a group of pastors and leaders, there's something that's happened that happens as you get together as a group and you start to develop what's called your lingo. So it's a community which spends a significant amount of time together develops a certain lingo that's specific to their own group. Now, as an example, and this is kind of a yesteryear example, but you get into a church, people talk about being washed in the blood.
Yeah.
You've been washed in the blood? Somebody new comes into your church and they hear about, what? They've been washed in the blood? What have they got underneath there? Is there a bucket of blood underneath that pulpit thing? What's that? What's it got there? That just sounds wrong. I'm just, as an example, this is so strange. You develop these phrases within your group that are so unique to your group, and it will happen automatically. If you're going through a sermon series, there's going to be some kind of catchphrase. If you went through an event together, either a big loss in your community or a big victory in your community, and there was some catchphrase that was attached to it, then that is something that's unique to your group. And when somebody new comes into your presence, they're going to be like, what's that all about? So as you say, group lingo develops through shared values and experiences. New people do not know your group lingo. You must acclimate them. Help them to get into your group speak. Because somebody brand new, somebody who's a brand new Christian, they're like, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what those words are. Be prepared to give those definitions. This is information that's so important for a new person. And I would just really urge you to develop a culture of explaining, not belittling people who aren't following or not understanding. You just develop a culture of training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, training, teaching, instructing, because it's hard. Some people, not everybody's operating on the same level. So bring them in, teach them, instruct them. That's why they're coming to you. As a leader, your language is building a foundation for your followers. As a leader, you are building a foundation with the language that you choose. So earlier we're talking about if you have issues, major issues, and you're just talking about all the problems of the day, all the problems of the world, to your congregation, to your audience, I mean, they're going to hear that on the news. They don't want to come and hear that from you. You are there to lay a foundation of hope, inspiration, all those sorts of things. So choose your words wisely. Remember that you got that deadly force weapon at your disposal. So that's important. What you speak about comes about. What you speak about comes about. You're a vision caster. The minute you stand up and you are talking to a group, you are casting a vision. And what you speak about comes about. We want to be a place of hope. We want to be a place where people come in and they're going to leave not the way they came back. They're going to leave better than when they came.
That's right.
More excited, more full of God's, inspiration, excitement. Come on, let's get it. We're going to give it to them. Let's do it. Okay. So that's basically the overview. But then as I was thinking about it, I thought, you know what? There's 2 bonus C's that I was thinking about, and this was not on my tools. And that is confirm. The first one is confirm. There seems to be a tendency nowadays to make that assumption that that person understood, I don't need to do anything about it. But you really do need to confirm. Confirm that the listener has heard. Confirm, like RSVP even. I mean, that's kind of gone by the wayside. When's the last time you've had to RSVP? But you really should, anytime you're asked. If you can't go, say no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you can go, say yes. Just in a timely fashion. That's so helpful to the people who are pulling that together. Stress that. Because as a leader, you are organizing events. So, the value of having something confirmed is so awesome. Second, and this is the final one, is concede. So, it's not an easy thing to concede. But if someone is right and you're wrong, concede. It's a tough thing to do because we can be a little bit prideful. The other thing is, if you're in an argument with a skunk and the skunk is wrong and you are right, should you concede?
Yes.
Yes, quickly.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to get covered with stink.
Yeah.
Run away. It ain't worth it. Really, seriously. So if you get it, just run. And it's hard. It's hard to concede, but that's not necessarily communication, but I just felt like that was a good one. Okay? Well, because you would be saying, I'm wrong, or whatever, or you're just like saying nothing. I'm like, I'm out of here. So, anyway, just to make sure that you all have my email, because I don't know if everybody was in the room, drserenatravis@gmail.com. And that way you can get a link from me if you're interested in seeing this short little video. It's fun. We had an opportunity to be a part of a thing, and actually Drake is going to fly to Los Angeles in August and represent us for this film. It's going to be on a 70-foot screen in LA. Whoa. Pretty exciting.
I like it.
Oh my goodness, here we
And Young and the
go.
Restless people will be there.
Oh,
Oh boy.
all those young and restless and old and the cranky.
Yeah.
They're all coming.
Serena,
Yes.
Item 4, second line, and build your
Where are you at, babe?
number 4.
Number 4?
Second line, and build your
That's the old outline. I don't know.
care about your audience and build your
I don't-
shoe collection. What?
Story.
Number 4. You said
Number 4.
correct. The correct
Second
error-free
line.
communication shows you care about your audience. Edit everything.
At your audience and build your. Am I the only one that does not know this? Nobody has this.
Nobody has it. Well, I don't have it on my outline, so I don't know. Let me see. Here, let me see this thing.
I think it means don't be critical.
Twilight Zone again.
Audit everything.
credibility.
I knew it was a C.
It is a C.
It's a C.
Build your credibility. Yeah, no, thanks, Drake. Now, that's actually a really good point, because when you have correct punctuation, grammar, and everything, you're credible. You know, if you're like slinging all, hashing the English language, people are going to say, oh, I don't know if they really know what they're talking about. So, yeah, build your credibility, and the final thing is edit everything. Any other questions? That was a good one, Drake.
A community which spends 2/3 of the way down. A community develops a lingo specific. No, next line group lingo. Don't see. Next line, not your group lingo. Lingo 3 in a row.
Lingo 3 in a row.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Lingo. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Speak well.